This year, we have been watching Hollywood and the box office flounder. Things are not looking good. And not only with Hollywood and the box office, but Disney. We have been watching Disney slowly die over the past couple years. And many people are trying to point to specific reasons, and we can get into that. But the question is, did this weekend's launch of Inside Out 2, is it going to save Disney? Or is this just kind of a gasping last breath of this company? Now, before we get to business, I want to make sure to tell you to check out criticless.com. We are in Android and Apple stores as well. We're an entertainment reviewing platform for talking about movies and TV shows. You can see right here, I've got the reviews for Inside Out 2 pulled up, but that's not all we are. We are for talking about all sorts of entertainment, not just movies and TV shows. We have groups within the apps talking about conspiracies and music and all sorts of things. So you can come and join groups and make lists of your favorite films or TV shows. There's a lot you can do, but our goal is just to capture that old school social media MySpace vibe, and I think we've really done that well. So make sure to come over and just review a few things and talk about what you're enjoying or not. But on to business here with Inside Out 2. I've been watching it really closely as far as the box office over the past few weeks, and things are looking really good for this movie. And it's made what they're considering to be a historic level of numbers for the international box office, and it is looking pretty good. And I've actually pulled up Odin's article here with Geeks and Gamers. If you don't follow them and his articles that come out every Monday, make sure to do that. But he's actually predicting that this movie could cross $1 billion, which would be wild. Now, if you really take a look at what it's done domestically, it's right at about 155 million, which is really good and better than anything else that's come out right now. And I honestly, I don't think that this is a bad thing. It's a very good thing, but a lot of people just right now are really upset with Disney. And so the question is, do we continue to give Disney our money? Do we continue to praise things like this and show up for things like this, or do we stop across the board? Now, I personally do have a fairly strong opinion about where I sit with this, and I've been thinking about it over the years. And I'm not one of these Disney adults or these hardcore Disney people who was always obsessed with Disney movies and their animation and all of that. I liked them, but I wasn't obsessed. And then they started buying up everything I love, primarily Marvel and Star Wars. And some of that has been to good return and some of it hasn't. With Marvel, they did wonders. They made the brand much, much better for a while, until recently, and that's not the case. Star Wars, that's a mixed bag at best, and I'm not even going to get into that. And with the new Acolyte show and everything going on, all the hubbub around that, it's not looking good for that brand. And for Marvel, things haven't been looking good of late either, which is why a lot of people are saying that we should completely and totally stop giving Disney our money so that maybe they sell off these things that they've bought, and maybe that is the solution. Or maybe what I'm thinking the solution might be is to just show up and give some love for the things that they are doing right and the things that they are succeeding in. And most people's complaints right now, if you have complaints with Disney, is their messaging and the simple fact that they are obsessed with pushing the message, which is very much one political ideology, one group of thought, and it's happening in thing after thing that they create. And not only that, but it boils all the way down to the people that they are hiring and putting in charge, who are also putting out bad things because they don't have the best in mind for what they are creating. It's more about this message being pushed, even if it's just subtle and at its core. Now, the question is Inside Out 2 problematic? Is there an issue with it? Should you not watch it? Should you not take your kids? Because I personally decided that we were not going to review this movie this weekend. And Matt, who's on Criticless Cast on Hinge, he was wanting to push me to talk about it. And they watch a lot of Disney movies within their household, with them having a young child. Mine are older now, so we don't watch as much of this type of stuff. But the bigger problem was that I personally just do not trust Disney anymore. I don't want to just blindly show up to a Disney film because I don't know what I'm going to get. It could be a mixed bag. It could be successful. It could be good and something trustworthy, or there could be a message that is outright damaging for my children. And so they were going to have to come to see this with us if we were going to review it. And I didn't trust taking them to that film. And so now we have some reviews within Criticless. And I've just kind of scrolled through and been looking at some things. We've only got 13 right now, but it's sitting at an 87%. We have a very middle of the road audience right now, not hyper political in either direction, at least some. But for the most part, we get fairly balanced opinions on our reviews. And if you take a look here, you'll notice these themes. And this is what we want front and foremost for you to see, which is the language, violence, nudity, political bias, and family friendliness. And I want you to look at these last two right here for this and being a Disney movie and a kids movie. And for political bias, we are sitting at none, and family friendliness, we are sitting at 100%. And this is a really good sign. And I would encourage you, if you are using Criticless, to use these sliders for us, because they are extremely helpful in without having to wade through 100 different reviews. I want to make things easy for folks. So if you take a look right now, it is setting dead center on none from 6 of those people. So less than half have actually even done the themes. So like I said, definitely make sure to do these if you know the answers to them. But it sounds like nobody is hyper fixating on anything being pushed in this, and they think that it's mostly family friendly, which is a good sign. And we have a whole lot of most excellence here. We even have 100. And I mean, really solid reviews from content creators, even like Savvy here, who gave it an 80%. And she is a little bit more political thinking with a lot of it and is more guarded with what she watches and consumes. And she seems to have very high opinions of this as well. And a lot of folks and users that I trust in here are giving it good scores. So that's the thing, is it's maybe the answer here is to use an outlet like Criticless, use us and our scales, and trust in those that are reviewing on it, and say, okay, well, look, we're a day or two after release. We've got these reviews here, and this is what the themes and sliders say. And I think that this is safe to take my kids to see. And not only that, but to give Disney your money where it's worth giving it to show them, look, you guys own all these properties. A lot of them are things that we like. And I do want to support that when you're doing the right things. And then we can do like we're doing with the Acolyte. And if you think it's absolute trash, if you think the messaging behind it is garbage, if you're not on board with all of that, then speak to that and tell people, tell Disney, we don't like this. Give it bad reviews. Because if you look at the Acolyte on Criticless right now, which is getting plenty of reviews and is actually my most liked review since starting this platform. And we have very active water coolers for it, which is our, where people can just come and chat. But as far as the Acolyte goes, it's like, we're sitting at a heinous 12% right now. And people are speaking when it comes to this show as well, which is a Disney property. And we need to let them know what we think. And I think that this is the first and best way to do it. I don't think that cutting out and just giving them no money across the board is the best way to handle this, because at the end of the day, I think that they are going to go down kicking and screaming. So the question is, do we let them go down kicking and screaming and just drive everything into the ground and let this drag out for years and years and years? Or do we speak with our wallets? We speak with things like reviewing, and we tell them, hey, we do or don't like this. We'll give you money for this, for things like Inside Out 2. We'll show up to the theater and watch it, and we will help save your brand if you just give us the types of things that we actually want to review, or when we actually want to see. And the thing is that so far lately, they haven't been. Marvel is suffering. I mean, I even pulled up their all-time box office numbers. It's like, even though Indiana Jones did fairly well considering all of Disney, it didn't do well. And that's the thing, is that Disney year after year, or the past 2 or 3 years, has been floundering, and their newer films are going lower and lower on the box office numbers that they are making at the end of the day. And Disney has got to be seeing that. And a lot of these properties and things that are failing are when they are pushing more politics. And it seems like they are noticing. And I think that this is the way that we speak, is in movies like this that don't have any bias, that aren't pushing any agenda. We speak positively about them, and we show up for them. Now, the interesting thing too that I wanted to kind of call out is there are a lot of social media people who are, it's gotten to the point where it's almost this knee-jerk reaction where we are kind of looking for ghosts, where there aren't any. And that's kind of the thing here, is like, I've been finding, my wife was actually sending me multiple of these content creators that are more parental type of, content creators that talk about things that are safe for your kids and whatnot. But I think that we are on this fine line where people are looking for things where there aren't any, where they are doing things like pointing this out, about the character's name being gender neutral, and, the perception of her being obsessed with this character in the new movie. But if you go through the comments here, there are a lot of people that follow this woman who agree with her on other things, and they're like, look, I think you're off base here. Like, this is, I normally agree with you, but like, we're just reaching at this point. And the thing is that there are a lot of communities that will tie things like this to films that don't really have anything to do with it, that are unrelated, that, like the emotions. And having a mixed sex emotion for different genders of emotions for the young girl versus the mom and the dad who have all male or all female. There's a good chance that that was just a choice that was made initially back in the first film, and that was when Disney was a lot less political, and that decision was made back then, and it's not the case. And they just have to hold to the case now that these characters are already created. But it's like, at what point are we going to overly dig and try to find problems where there aren't any? Because regular folks, your regular viewers and audiences that are showing up, are going to see these kind of complaints and people being like, oh, this is the wokest thing ever, when it's not really. I talked about similar things when I was talking about Furiosa. Furiosa was not woke, and it sounds like this movie isn't either. So the question is, like, are people going to realize that it's gone too far, that calling everything under the sun as woke is a bad move? Because it is. And it's a bad look because regular audiences, regular people are just going to be confused. They're not going to get what you're talking about. So it's time to pull back a little bit. Let's just be level-headed about this and go and watch things with an open mind, and then hop on Criticless. Use those sliders, use those themes, review things accurately, and give people a good direction on what to head and what to watch versus just, trying to burn the whole company to the ground. Because the thing is I think that they are going to make that a very painful process and drag it way out. So why don't we just show them with our wallets, show them with our opinions what we truly think? And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And, there's a part of me that regrets not reviewing this a little bit, but at the same time, not really, because I still am not at the point where I trust this company well enough to just take my kids to anything that they make, because there's a good chance that, one, it's either just going to be awful, or two, it's going to be full of some level of propaganda, whether it be high or medium or low. It doesn't really matter for me. I'm not interested in pushing those things onto my kids at this young age. They are very susceptible, and once it's done, you can't take it back. So I'm not trying to do that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep using Criticless. I'm going to keep listening to our users and the people that are on the platform and trusting in the people that are giving their opinions. And now I might take my kids to see this movie and give them some of my money as well, or we'll just wait until it comes out at home release. But either way, I think that this is a good sign that the box offices are doing well, because I want the box offices to do well. I want them to make money, because I don't want to see our theaters fall apart. I love that experience. I don't want it to go to all home viewing. There is something very special about going to a theater and watching a movie. I mean, sometimes those experiences can also suck, but 9 times out of 10, they're great. And so I'd prefer those when I can do it. So let's keep doing this. Let's keep speaking with our wallet and with our voices as well. And as far as this goes, I think that's it for the news for today. Make sure to come back tomorrow. I'll be here as usual, talking about what's going on in the entertainment industry and attempting to talk about some of the things that other folks aren't, so that you can be up to breast on what is going on within the industry and the news surrounding all of it. So until tomorrow, guys, this has been excellent. Make sure to go to criticless.com, download the app and in the app stores, or just visit us on the website. It's been real. Talk to you later.